Hello, everyone, and happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Franchise Empire newsletter. And today, we're going to talk about a senior care franchise that does 10 million in gross sales, as well as a franchise resale for less than $200,000. And I'm excited to kick this off. This is, actually, for those of you who are watching live, hello. Drop me a note in the comments. Where are you tuning in from? Would love to know. I think the last two of these that we did, we went up doing them as pre-recorded because they were during the holidays, and I took the last 2 weeks of the year off, and it was fantastic. Lots of family time, incredible. But today we got some awesome brands to dive into, so I'm excited to share this with you guys. I know that one of the most important things that you guys want to see are different franchise opportunities and understand the numbers behind those franchise opportunities, which is why we do this newsletter. And so our mission at Franchise Empire is to be the most trusted resource for you in franchising and to be able to help you with owning a money-making franchise, if that's something that's important to you. So let's dive in. Today, we are going to cover a low-cost franchise that shows average revenue of 1.4 million. I wonder if we got our titles mixed up here. We're we're gonna flow with it. Let's see how that goes. I'm assuming the high one is what shows the 10 million. Anyways, we're going to share all the numbers with you. We pull up the FDD and we share all of the numbers from the FDD. Hello to Laird from Houston, Texas. Hello to Chris from Alberta, Canada. Hello to Kim from Kim. What is up, man? I think it's been like 2 years. How are you? My goodness, shoot me an email. I'd love to catch up and see how everything's going. Kim was a client from a couple years ago. Good to see you, man. Hello to Thompson from Delaware. Hi, Angela from California. Awesome. Thanks for taking time out of your day, guys. I'm really excited to do this live again. The first one of the year. If you're watching the replay, by the way, comment and let me know that you're watching the replay. We do this live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and we'll continue to. And I have some exciting news that I'm going to share with you somewhere along this live. You'll definitely want to stick around for that. But we're going to cover a franchise resale that is priced at less than $200,000 with a strong brand. We'll talk about why a particular franchisee is seeing quick success. And then what it's really like owning a franchise. So let's dive in. And if you have any questions, take advantage of the fact that, we're all here live together. And so if you have any questions as we're going through, let me know and ask. And then what I'll do is at the end, I will dive into those questions. Kim, I'm doing great, man. Fantastic. Really good. Life is really, really good. Let's see. Jay Wolfolk, hello from Los Angeles. I hope you're okay out there. I've seen just snippets of some stuff with the fire going on somewhere in that area. So my thoughts and prayers are with you and the people in Los Angeles. I remember when we lived in California, we lived in the mountains, and actually there was a massive fire that got started, and my wife and I had to evacuate. It was pretty scary, pretty terrifying. We didn't know if it was we had to go stay in a hotel. We had to, I think, leave our house at like 10 o'clock that night. It was crazy. We didn't know, hey, is it going to hit over on our house? Are we going to have a house tomorrow or not? Fortunately, we were okay, but there were a lot of people who weren't. All right. So there's a lot of other stuff in this newsletter, by the way, that I'm not going to cover all of it. I'm just going to hit the highlights of the specific franchise opportunities, but we send this out every Sunday at 8 a.m. if you're on our email list. If you're not, go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter. And if you are on our email list and you're like, I don't get that email, then check your junk or your spam or your promotions tab or whatever it is and make sure to whitelist our email. But let's go ahead and jump right into the specific opportunities. So this first one is a resale called 5-Star Painting. And this particular resale. So by the way, a little bit about 5-Star Painting. They are associated with Neighborly. Neighborly is one of the largest home services franchisors. They have about 20 different home services franchise brands. Our team and our company here at Franchise Empire works with all of the Neighborly brands, by the way. So if you're interested in any of them, please reach out to us, because that's part of our business and how we make money, is helping you to connect with different franchises. If you watch this and you reach out on your own, it actually takes money out of our pocket, and we're the one exposing you to this. So please don't do that. We have ways that are completely free to work with us, and we provide you additional resources. 5-Star Painting, they've been franchising since 2007, and they have 230 units. We actually have a client that bought a resale about a year and a half ago for dirt cheap, because it was underperforming, and like dirt cheap. And he's turned it around, and it's incredible. I actually have a video. I'm gonna hold on. I want to pull up the link for the video so I can drop it in the comments for you, so you guys can check it out. Because we actually met in person. He's actually in Orlando, and we did a whole kind of like day in the life video, and he reveals like his financials, and he shares a lot of like really personal and kind of private information, and he was cool with sharing that. So I think a lot of you guys would get a lot of value out of that video. I'm dropping the link to it right here. So, after this or whatever, bookmark it and make sure to go check that out. But this specific resale is in Sarasota. Sarasota is a fantastic market from everything that I know. A lot of Florida markets are just fantastic overall. Asking price is 199 grand, reduced significantly since original listing. 2023 revenue is $660,000. Of course, in order to get the updated 2024 revenue, you'll need to inquire and then fill out sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. We can help facilitate that, right? So actually, let me just drop something here that just says, hey, if you're interested in this resale or any resales, you can schedule a free meeting with our team so that we can either check to see what resales are available in your area, or, we can get you connected with this specific resale. This specific territory opened July 2018. So, you're talking, this is 6 years old, this territory, and established. And they have residential and commercial customers. There's 2 employees. The owner has 2 other businesses and doesn't have time to dedicate to the franchise. Here's what I can share. Our client Emmanuel, who bought the franchise. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show the thumbnail. I think it automatically starts playing. But the one that we did that live in person video, Emmanuel, he bought a territory, a resale with 5-Star Painting that had 2 previous owners that both underperformed. And part of the reason those 2 previous owners underperformed is because they had other businesses and weren't putting their full attention to the franchise. And so, sometimes with resales, it may not show the sexiest numbers, but that's because it's like a diamond in the rough, right? There's just, business. It's like being a part-time parent. Like you're not going to be able to maximize the opportunity if you're not doing something like full-time or fully dedicated to it, after getting it rocking and rolling. So for someone who, and we are advocates of people who want to go in and work hard and be full-time in their business for the first couple of years. And I think if you can dedicate full-time focus, for 18 to 36 months in a business, the opportunity that could lead to, and then eventually having a manager step in can be fantastic. We got more people. Wow, we got someone from Manchester, UK. Cool. Turgay? Nice. Welcome to everyone. Mitchell from the DMV area. Hey, I don't know who your team is, Mitchell, but hail. That's all I can say. Hail the Commanders. I'm a Commanders fan. I grew up in Woodbridge, Virginia. So I grew up in the DMV area. I'm pumped that my Commanders made it to the playoffs. We got the Tampa Bay Bucks first round. So I'm pretty pumped. I'm not a bandwagoner. I've been a Commanders fan and been tortured for the last, my goodness, pretty much 20 years. And we're finally good again. So I'm pumped about that. But this specific resale opportunity has been on the market for several months. 5-Star Painting is a solid brand, like we talked about, within the Neighborly umbrella. According to the most recent franchise disclosure document, the average job for painting projects is about $4,400. The business model typically uses subcontractors to do the actual painting jobs. When you guys go watch that video I did with Emmanuel, where he talks about how he has this business structured, he talks about the revenue the business was doing when he bought it. He talks about what they're going to do now in their annual revenue. We actually go to a job site. It's a pretty cool video. And so he uses subcontractors right now, but eventually as you get a more established business, do more and more revenue, then you can shift to having, full-time employees. If interested in this resale, we suggest understanding the current employees' roles in the business and how many subcontractors the business has in rotation to utilize. Excuse me. And I'm just seeing, hey, this is pretty exciting, by the way. This is the most amount of people we've had live on one of these newsletters in a while. I just saw that we hit like 44, 45 people live on here. We usually get like 300 or 400 views within like a week or two. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you think about it, like 300 or 400 people watching something's pretty crazy about franchising, which isn't like a huge market. Lastly, Sarasota is a fast-growing area with a lot of potential, and it seems like an opportunity to get into a turnkey home services franchise, and if you're the right individual, grow quickly. So, Chris, I'm pretty confident that Neighborly works with E2 candidates. Our head of brokerage would know that for sure. You know what? I'm gonna message him right now while we're doing this and see if I can get an answer. We'll see if he. I'll keep my Slack up to see if he responds while we're still doing this live. So again, guys, if you're just joining, if you're interested in this resale and getting the latest sales information on it and getting connected to the owner, you would need to sign a non-disclosure agreement. And you can go to franchiseempire.com/resales to set up a free meeting with our team, and they can help facilitate next steps in the process. Or if you just want to know, hey, what are, if any, resales available in my market? That's one of the things that makes us different at Franchise Empire is we specialize in helping people find, well, I don't know if saying specialize, but it's an area of focus in our business to help individuals find resale franchises. But I just want to say, by the way, sometimes it's way easier to start from scratch. I know everyone nowadays, especially with all the videos that are out there, think that a resale is like the best thing since sliced bread. I will tell you that that's just not the case. And it's often harder. And if you have no experience in leading or managing people, a resale can be very difficult because you're basically stepping into, it's like if you've never driven before and you're trying to learn how to drive in a Ferrari, right? Like the margin for error is so slim. Similar with resales. Okay. We're going to jump to the other franchise opportunity that we're going to talk about in a little bit. But what we like to do is we like to, every time in this newsletter, is to highlight a new franchise owner that we've helped through Franchise Empire and just share a little bit about their story. Because what we found from you guys reaching out to us is saying, hey, we want to hear more about other people and kind of what their journey has been because it's relatable. So about a year ago, we had a guy come to us who was in software sales, looking at franchises for a while, and what just stuck in the process was just stuck in the process. He didn't really know how to find or vet the franchises, and was doing research on his own, but he wasn't really making the progress that he wanted. By the way, this is, I don't know if any of you guys can relate to this, but super common. We have people come to us all the time. Hey, I've been looking for a month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, multiple years, and I'm just kind of lost. I've talked to franchises, I've worked with brokers, whatever. And then finally, we wind up becoming their last stop in the process. But for him, he had some doubts around not only if he could find the right franchise, but if he could succeed. Right? I know that was something that was on my mind before I bought my franchise. Can I really do this? So he joined our 0 to Profitable Franchise Mastermind, which is not just working with a broker on our team. It's much more than that. And in less than 90 days, he became a franchisee. And I received a text message that less than a year into his business, he had a month doing $150,000 in sales, which is absurd and pretty cool. And so it's really something for the average person that wants to be an entrepreneur. It's hard to pull off without a system that a franchisor provides. Like to start a business from scratch and within a year have a 6-figure month, it's incredibly difficult. So anyways, to maintain compliance with franchise laws and regulations, we will not share the exact franchise brand, as we can only share numbers that are in sales numbers that are in a financial disclosures documents, item 19. So we're not going to talk about what specific brand that was. Anyways, because we do want to, it's important to us to make sure that we are compliant. Let's keep rocking and rolling. And by the way, again, if you have any questions, let me know. There's another family I can read. Our head of broker just not sure. By the way, before I jump into this franchise of the week and I show their numbers, you guys are the first to know. From the public side, our most recent clients have, of course, know because they're working with him. But we have brought our franchise brokerage business completely in-house. We've hired an SVP of franchise brokerage, whose name is Mark. The podcast is going to come out, I think, in a couple of weeks of Mark's story. But Mark owned, was it 13 Five Guys franchises, had a massive exit. He's worked with a lot of clients as a franchise broker previously. So super exciting. It's just really awesome. So Mark and I are going to be doing content together. He's just incredibly sharp, super experienced, has been epically successful. And we're just really lucky to have him on our team. And I'm just really excited for him to start putting out content and sharing his wisdom and knowledge with you guys. So TBD, I think over the next week or two, Mark will make his appearance and start showing up to some of these newsletters and probably producing content on his own. Okay, let's talk about this brand. Franchise of the week, Senior Helpers. Senior care, only better. So the history around this brand, and by the way, as we go through this, if you want to know if this franchise is still available in your area, you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. What I will do is I will drop that link for those of you who want to do that. Assuming you qualify, meaning like you have meet the minimum financial standards for the franchise, then we can set up a meeting so that we can check to see if it's available. Or we can just if you just want to have a conversation around, hey, I just want to know what type of franchises are actually available. But this company started in 2002 in Baltimore, Maryland, in the DMV area. And oh, promote. I did post the link. It should be in the chat above. I posted the YouTube video link. If not, you can type it. The name of the video is "This Painting Business Crushes It," and you can just go click on the channel and see our most recent videos. So this company began franchising in 2005. They had a few name changes and acquisitions over the last 20 years. Their current parent company is SHF Acquisition. They have 5 corporate territories, which is cool because they know what it's like to run the units. They have 333 franchise units. So the odds of your territory being available are slim with this specific concept. But there are often similar, especially in the senior care market, there are often some really quality competitors in the space if your territory is not available. But of course, we can check. The franchise fee is $55,000. They have a 5% royalty. National marketing fee 1 to 2%. The total investment range is between $127,000 to $171,000, and they have a 10-year franchise term. Again, these numbers are according to the FDD that was released on April 19th, 2024. So what do they do? Well, I think it's pretty obvious because they're called senior helpers, but they provide various non-medical care and personal assistant services primarily for elderly individuals. So these services include care and companionship services, bathing, dressing, grooming, personal hygiene, light housekeeping, meal planning, running errands, transportations. Excuse me, all of those things. As you guys may be familiar with, there's some interesting statistics about, the senior population and it growing and the amount of support and help that's needed. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity. There are a lot of competitors. There's also a lot of opportunity in this space. So let's dive into some of the numbers and this is where we got the 10 million from. So we are accurate here. So this was in the 2024 FDD, showing numbers for 2023. If you guys aren't familiar, FDDs only come out typically once a year. So we're not going to have the 2024 sales numbers until they release their latest FDD, probably in 2025. So Blanca said interested. Cool. We'd love to check and see if it's available. Blanca, go to franchiseempire.com/check territory, and our team can check to see if the specific market that you are interested in is available. But let's talk some numbers because that's the most exciting part, right? So here they're showing out of franchise businesses that have been open for 60 months or more. That's 5 years, ladies and gentlemen. 5. There's 226 of those businesses. The range of revenue ranges from 116,000 to 10.8 million, which is just a giant range. And the average annual gross revenues 1.49 million. The median is 1.2 million. And there are 36%, so 82 of the franchise businesses do more than the average of 1.49 million. I want to take a second real quick and talk about this because so many people these days want overnight success. They want to, it's like what I see and hear often is like, how much money can I make in year 1? What I find is that those people have never run a business before, and that's okay. But if you go into a business trying to think, how can I make the most amount of money and take out the most amount of money in year 1, you probably are not going to be successful as an entrepreneur. Hear me out. Because anyone that's been an entrepreneur and has been a successful entrepreneur knows, number 1, One of the most important things in business is time. Nothing can beat time in, right? Think about your career, your professional career. Were you making the same amount of money in year 1 as you were year 5 versus year 10 when you entered into a junior role? No. You might have, like, my first job, my first salary was $36,000, right? And then eventually in the corporate world, I had months making $35,000 in a month. I mean, I was in a commission-based role, but that was almost 10 years after, right? So it's super important that when you go into a franchise and evaluate a franchise opportunity, to really understand what's the year 3 to 5 potential, right? And focus on what can be produced over the long term. I totally understand the needs of, like, hey, but if I leave my job, I got a family to feed. I need income. I totally get it. I understand. Um, you're going to have to figure out a different way or alternative plan to figure out that transition. It's something that we coach and help people with as well. But if you go in with that kind of get rich quick mentality, it's going to lead to the wrong things. The second point about that is any entrepreneur knows that in the beginning, even if you have a gangbuster year and do 5, 6, 7, $800,000 in sales, you're reinvesting that money back into hiring people, back into marketing. Um, you're not trying to take as much profit as possible. You got to reinvest back into the business. So that's my rant on that, by the way. Um, and you'll see the difference in the numbers, right? And so what happens is, before I go into the rest of the numbers, what happens is, you know, that if you avoid starting because you can't, you don't have the patience to get to your year 5 in the business, and you're trying to avoid the grind of year 1, 2, and 3, you never get there. You never get there. So the sooner you start, the better, right? Because the sooner the clock starts and you can have time compounding and efforts compounding, it's incredibly powerful, right? So you just got to get started and don't keep delaying, because the more you delay, the longer it takes to get to year 5. And opportunities in franchises that you want are getting, people are buying them. They're not going to be there anymore. Once a territory is sold, it's sold. That's it, right? So, don't miss out on those opportunities that you may want, that may not be around a year from now. So franchise businesses open 48 months, so less than 5 years, more than 4 years, less than 5 years. 14 of those, the numbers range from 125,000 to 3.1 million. The average there is 1.04 million in terms of sales. Median gross revenue 880,000. 5 franchise businesses that do more than the average. So 5 out of the 14 do more than 1.04 million. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this and you've made it this far, do me and us a huge favor and press the like button on YouTube. Just like this video, because this is completely free. Our team, it takes a lot of time to source this information. There's no one out there providing this information the way that we do, by the way. We love it. We enjoy doing it. And, we hope that you get a lot of value out of it. But if you press the like button, it'll help the algorithm expose this video to more people. And we'll get to help more clients. And then when we do that, it'll generate more revenue. We'll be able to do more of this. It's just awesome for everyone. Win, 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 win all around. All right, next category. Franchise businesses open 36 months, so 3 years, more than 3 years, less than 4. There's 15 of those businesses. By the way, here's a distinction that to dive into. When it says franchise businesses, what that means is what it likely means is that could represent more than one territory. So it could be, 2 territories, could be 3 territories, so on and so forth. And that's the language they use throughout all of that. I'd have to look through the fine print of their FDD to see how they define franchise businesses, but that's an assumption that I'm making after I've looked through hundreds of FDDs. There are 15 of these folks, and the revenue ranges from 70,000 to 1.5 million. The average annual gross is 719,000. The median 627,000. I'm going to start to shorten up my rants around these categories. Open 2 years, more than 2 years, less than 3. There's 22 franchise businesses. They range from 195,000 to 2.2 million. And 971,000 is the average annual, and the median is 932,000. So that's pretty interesting that the folks between 2 and 3 years are producing better numbers than the folks that are open between 3 and 4 years. That's fascinating. And what that could mean just better franchisor support and processes potentially. Franchise businesses open 1 year, at least 1 year, but less than 2 years. Lowest sales range from 31,000 to 1.4 million. Average annual sales 589,000. Median 431,000. 10 of these individuals have done more than the average of 589,000. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool to see the numbers. So, this goes back to my rant, which is, and I'll do this one pretty quickly, but just look at the dramatic difference between the sales here and how that escalates, with exception of this category, when people have time in. Nothing beats time in, ladies and gentlemen. Time in business. We just hit just shy of 1 million at Franchise Empire in 2024. My first year we did, it was just me basically, but we did 140,000 for the year, right? So I think this was year 2021, 2, 3, 4. That was our 4th year in business. So it took us 4 years to I think we ended up just shy of 1 million. Takes time, ladies and gentlemen, takes time. Granted, I started this business completely from scratch. It was way harder than I ever thought it would be. Starting from scratch is no joke. And starting a franchise is no joke either. Business is hard, period. If you don't want to do hard stuff, don't start a business at all. But hey, by the way, a lot of the other competitors and folks out there, they want to tell you, you can do this semi-absentee, you can, do this part-time and build your business. And that's not what we preach. We're real about what's required. It's hard. Starting a business is very hard. Can you start part-time and do it? Sure. There are people that do it. But if you go in with the mindset of, I want to put in the least amount of effort into starting a business to get the most amount of financial return, you are probably doomed, and it's probably not going to work out well for you. Who we work with and support are the folks who are like, hey, I'm ready to work hard. And we have plenty of clients that keep their job because they need to make that financial transition, but they know, like, hey, the next year or two is going to be hard, and I'm going to be burning the candle at both ends for the next 2 years until I transition, but I'm ready for it because I'm ready to make a change and I want to make this happen. Man, I'm just 2 weeks off of work. I'm just fired up today. Benefits for the franchisee for this particular franchise: lead generation. So Senior Helpers is the only brand that has national agreements that provide franchisees with leads through a place for mom and KarenHomes.com. One-on-one support. As a new franchisee, you'll be connected with an operations manager who will provide you with one-on-one support for up to 20 hours a week for the first 3 months of your business. Wow, that is fantastic. So imagine going, compared to starting your own business from scratch, right? You don't have anyone there that's providing you one-on-one support, that's been there, done that knows the business inside that and out, that knows the what to do, what not to do. It's just one of the massive benefits of franchising, or owning a franchise with a good brand, because there are brands that don't provide great support and they suck. So you want to stay away from those, by the way. Recurring revenue. You only need a small piece of the market to do well in this business, since your clients will remain with you for many months and even years, which is interesting. So the lifetime value of customers can be significant. Demand. I alluded to this earlier, is that in 2021, the first baby boomers reached the age of 75. The age when seniors' likelihood of required in-home care starts to rapidly increase around that age. And so this means that the peak demand for in-home care among this generation is only starting. Over the next 10 to 20 years, senior care needs are expected to grow dramatically. I know we've already had 2 clients that have signed franchise agreements already in the first 8 days. So someone added a territory, which we love to see that. When someone buys a franchise and they add additional territory, that means it's going well for them. So we love that. Our client success is the most important thing. It is what we put as the priority at Franchise Empire, which is why we continue to provide support and help people even after they sign their franchise agreement. But yeah, I know that someone did buy a senior care franchise, which is pretty cool. Senior helpers life profile. So they have a unique life profile that is data-driven assessment tool that provides holistic view of the risks, needs, and factors that influence the ability to age at home and helps to reduce the risk of an unsafe occurrence or hospitalization by over 70%. That's fantastic. So that's all in this specific brand, guys. Again, if you're interested in finding out if this brand is available in your specific market, go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. You will enter your information on a page. It will look like, let's see, can you see this? No, you can't see this. How can I? Hold on, I'm going to stop and I'm going to share again. Let's do entire screen. You're going to see all sorts of other stuff. But so it'll take you to this page. By the way, this is Mark. And our new head of brokerage. It's been a couple months since he's been here, actually. When you do, so you'll click get started for free. You'll enter your information. You do have to have the financial resources, guys, because franchises do have financial requirements. And then you'll be prompted to set up a meeting. And 99%, as of right now, 99% of the time, that meeting will be with Mark right off the bat. And so that's the process there. Let's continue on. And let me see let me just check in and see if we have a couple of questions. Take this banner off. Whoops. How do I take this thing? There we go. There we go. I know we did have a call. I'm going to hit the questions in a little bit. Stay tuned. Okay. Our latest episode of the Franchise Empire Show, which is being rebranded back to the Zero to Profitable Franchise Podcast, because that's what matters, going from zero to profitable. And it's episode about what it's really like owning a franchise. So we break down a couple of franchise opportunities and give you an inside look from a brand new franchisee and what it's really like owning a franchise. And if you're looking to buy a franchise in 2025, it could be one of these could be a great opportunity for you. So here's how you access this, by the way. So you're going to go to franchiseempire.com. Okay. So like if you're on our email list on Sunday, this past Sunday, you would have gotten this email. So check your junk if you don't see it or whatever. Just type in Franchise Empire in your search and you can go find this and click on the link, right? If not, you can, number one, go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter so you get the future ones. But when you go here, you go to free resources. You'll go to Empire Builders newsletter, psych. You go to Empire Builder articles. And when you do that, read our money-making articles. Okay, I don't even know where to go. Oh, newsletter. Right here, guys. Top right-hand corner. Just click newsletter, and you'll be able to see the latest one, which was this one. This franchise shows $10 million in annual sales. So you'll be able to see that and then, click the link. But we're also on all the podcast platforms as well. So you can just type in Franchise Empire Show. That's it. So let me see what questions we have. Do you believe in diversification for multiple income streams, like how most people talk about having 7 income streams? Yes and no. I think that most people need to just focus on one thing and commit to that for a couple years. And once you get really good at that, then try to focus on multiple. Most people try to do it's like what is it? Jack of all trades, master of none. That kind of phrase. Um, Mark Cuban actually says like diversification is stupid. If you think about the people who get the wealthiest, they generally have one business and they focus on that one business. So I think that I'm constantly talking myself out of other opportunities and business opportunities, so I can just focus on one thing. And it's so easy to get shiny object syndrome, by the way. So let's see. Do you think the best business is different for everyone rather than other influencers saying one fit business for everyone? Oh, yeah. I hate generalized vanilla advice. And that's what I love about franchising is like the business model is the most proven business model in history, but you have pretty much every industry under the sun. I mean, there are crazy franchises where you be like, there's a franchise for that. Like, there's a franchise for parking lot striping and like road striping. How crazy is that, right? All sorts of interesting things. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure to hit the like button on YouTube before you leave this video. It is very helpful for us. And we'll see you next Wednesday, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Share this video with someone you know who you think would be like, oh, that's cool. That's interesting. I like it. And we'll keep rocking and rolling to provide as much value as we can. Have a great rest of your week. Peace.